welcome to our TM6 highlights class tonight. So tonight I basically wanted to just show you how great the TM6 model Thermomix is, which I have here. The intention for tonight was to show people who have older models what the new upgrades are in the TM6, but anyone was welcome to join. Please feel free to ask questions as we go. This is meant to be a little bit interactive if you want it to be. I know some of you just want to sit back and relax, but if you're wanting to ask questions about anything, feel free to just interject. You can put it in the chat or just come off mute and talk to me. That's totally fine. So to begin with, I'll just show you the TM6 model Thermomix comes with, well, the basic unit, a bowl set, lid, the measure cup that stays inside. Now it's a bit different to past model measure cups. We also have a butterfly, the splash guard. Now the splash guard is used for when you're using high heat mode, which I'll show you as we go. And the simmer basket, which now has a lid on it to make sure you aren't overfilling it. That's one of our important safety updates. The spatula is pretty similar to old ones. It still has the hook to get out your simmer basket when cooking. It still has the guard so that you can put it inside when mixing. But it is a little bit more flexible so that when you're scraping, it does do a better job of scraping. So that's our spatula. And we have our Warmup, which just sits on top. So so you can do a lot of multi-layered cooking. So they're the accessories that come with the Thermomix. And at the moment, we do have a promotion on. So those who are doing the trade up get a second bowl included. That's a whole second bowl set that has the lid, bowl, and a simmer basket included. And for those who aren't trading up, so those who are just buying a Thermomix at the moment, can add this onto their purchase for $29. So it's really handy having two bowls, just being able to swap them out between recipes so that you can get cooking on the next recipe faster. But also sometimes in the middle of a recipe, it asks you to scrape out, clean and dry the bowl and carry on with the next part of the dish. So if you have two bowls, you can just set one aside, easily put in the next one and carry on with your recipes. So having two bowls is very convenient. If you've had a Thermomix for a while, you'll surely agree. So then I wanted to show you what's different with the TM6. So we have quite a big screen here. When you first turn on the Thermomix, you've got your time, temperature, and speed circles. If we go this way, we have all of our modes. And now these are constantly being upgraded. So when we first got the TM6 in 2019, we didn't have all of these modes. They just come over software update. So it's pretty exciting when a software update comes and we get new modes. I am going to go through these in a minute, but I want to show you the other way. So when you swipe this way, this is probably my favorite thing about the TM6 is that you can turn it on, swipe, and you're straight into CookieDooo, which means no syncing or anything like that. It's all just inbuilt. So you can come here straight away and start typing something. It's a little bit slower when I'm on Zoom because I'm using the Wi-Fi, but you can just come here, type literally anything and be into your recipe. So if you know what you want to cook, you type in the actual word, but if you aren't sure and you type in an ingredient, yeah, so well, that's a favorite of ours. So when you're in a recipe, you can scroll down to see the information about it. All your ingredients are here, your steps, your nutrition guide, and sometimes there's some tips as well. But basically, if you're ready, you just press start and we go along following the steps. The scales come up when you need them to come up. And another great thing about the TM6 is that the scales go in 1 gram increments. So it's very specific, making your baking and cooking a lot more accurate. So you just do what it says and press next through the recipe. I do just want to show you one other thing that is different to this model if I get to it. So when you're cooking, if you want to look ahead at the next part of the recipe, you can press these 3 dots, go to the recipe detail, and scroll down and see the next ingredients that you need to get out of the fridge or the pantry. So it's just really handy having it on the screen. Everything about the Thermomix TM6 is just about making everything more convenient. It's a lot more of a streamlined approach to cooking. You can also just press the preview button to see what the next steps are, or you can cancel the recipe or bring up the scales. So you can put any random bowl up the top here, press the scales, and be weighing your next ingredients to prep ahead. I'll just stop that because we're not actually cooking anything in there at the moment. So the other thing we have on our Thermomix screen is, and I'm just going to cancel this recipe. So we've got our modes this way, CookieDooo this way. The other thing is you can look at videos on your screen. So there's just like, if you're unsure about something, there's videos that help you know
My
what
table
to do.
is always full, except when...
So that one's talking about how you can change the portion sizes of recipes. So if you have 2, 4, or 6 people or 8, you can change the portions. But so the other thing we have is our menu, and in our menu is where we can find all of the recipes that we've bookmarked or created, because you can create your own recipes, like your own family favorites, and add them into the Thermomix to be guided cooking on the TM6 model. This was another quite a big upgrade in the TM6. So these are my family favorite recipes that I've put on CookieDooo. So yeah, you can all do that as well. You can also bookmark favorite recipes from CookieDooo and have folders that you've created. Other things in here are your meal plan, recently cooked, so you can always find your absolute favorites because you can come back and find them in your recently cooked. And there's help instructions and different settings that we can do. So I want to show you some of the modes that are in the TM6, because in older models there was Dough mode and Turbo mode, and later TM5s had a self-clean mode, but it wasn't quite as advanced as the self-clean mode we have here. So what I'm going to do is show you first something that's very cool that you can do in the Thermomix TM6 is use high heat mode. And that is, so I'm going to show you this honeycomb recipe. Hopefully you can see that. So basically you'd come and type in the word honeycomb, and so you could type in any sugar stages recipe. So it's just that the Thermomix TM6 model goes up to 160 degrees, meaning you can do this toffee work and caramelization in here. So first adding some sugar. And then we're going to add our water. This is a very cheap recipe to make, very easy if you're wanting to gift a treat to someone or take a treat somewhere or have to a party. You can use honey or golden syrup. And then we're going to watch that boil, and you can leave the kitchen while this does this. It takes 22 minutes to let it boil up. The blades stir it first, but then the blades are going to stop, and you can see it bubbling away there to cook the toffee. So that's purely because this Thermomix gets a lot hotter than previous models. And then the last step is to add in your bicarb soda, stir it around and pour it wherever you want it. You kind of need to work fast with this one because it does start to set quite quickly. But yeah, you can see, just stir and then quickly tip it out. And then let it set. And in the meantime, we use our self-clean mode to clean the Thermomix bowl, because obviously that honeycomb is setting on there very quickly. So we just add some water and vinegar and let the Thermomix wash itself. So I will probably skip through that a bit. Yeah, it's just letting it wash itself. And what I would love to show you is, yeah, so there's the clean bowl. I want to show you the crunch of that perfect honeycomb result. Very easily done in your Thermomix. And it's just one example of all the great things you can make in the new model because it goes so hot. And so I want to show you now how you can saute in the Thermomix. Again, 160 degrees. So this one will be using the splash guard. If I can find it. Here we go. So come along and just, as I showed you earlier, just swipe on the screen, type in what you're wanting to cook. And there are just thousands and thousands of recipes. So you will never get bored of finding anything that you're wanting to try. And all the different modes just make such a good variety of recipes. So adding in our oil. This is very simple. The reason I wanted to show this is because a lot of TM customers or TM31 customers haven't seen how caramelization works in the Thermomix. One of my other favorites is all the time. Just that high heat does a really good job. So at first the blades move, and then they're going to stop and settle for that heat to pick up, and then you'll start hearing the sizzle. You'll start seeing all the steam coming out the top, and yeah, you can. It's a set and forget. So you leave. There you go. You can hear it sizzling now. You leave the kitchen and let your veggies saute themselves. And this is the same as you can do this with chicken, bacon, beef cubes, pork, minced meat. It doesn't have to just be veggies, but yeah, the saute mode is one of our good upgrades in the later models. Yeah, in a second. And you'll see seasoning and pouring it out. So I guess with me saying, you know, set and forget, leave the kitchen, that's because one of the reasons I love the Thermomix and one of the main reasons I wanted to invest in a Thermomix was to save time. So some people invest in the Thermomix to save time. For others, it's to be healthy, cooking, you know, beautiful dishes from scratch without any additives. For some, it's to save money. And for some, it's just to have really good food and to have one appliance on your kitchen bench that does everything. So there you can see the sauteed zucchini. It's done a great job there. You can see the caramelization there, which works really well as well. So any questions so far? So that was the high heat mode that I wanted to show you, and I'm going to show you the other modes, but I just thought I'd just check in. Everyone's all good? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is just show you some of the other modes that the Thermomix has. It's just going to take me a second. This is much easier for me to show you with videos, because if I tried to show you live, we'd be here for so long. I want to show you as much as I can on a short amount of time. So I wanted to show you the egg boiler mode, which basically, oh, sorry, I don't know why that did that. You choose your eggs from the fridge, put them straight in down the bottom where the blades are, because the blades on egg boiler mode are not going to move. So you put your eggs in, add your water, choose how you want them cooked. And depending on how you want them cooked, that's how long the Thermomix will go for. It will tell you when it's ready. And it's a little bit of trial and error of how you like your eggs. We like ours medium soft so that we can dip toast soldiers in. Yeah, you can see it there, all the different types. So yeah, that's egg boiler mode. Perfect. Again, set and forget. I'm all about saving time in the Thermomix. So I wanted to show you also that we have a rice cooker mode now on the Thermomix. So this is the absorption method of cooking rice, meaning the rice is in the water. You just give it a rinse in your simmer basket, add it in, And again, the blades won't be moving on this mode because we just want the rice and the water to sit there so it can all absorb in. And it just cooks. Set and forget. Depending on how much you've put in will determine how long it takes. It's about 25 to half an hour. And you can do any kind of rice or grains. And actually, if you're unsure about the, if I just stop that share, if you're unsure about how much water to put in, a lot of people just use the back of the packet to tell you how much water to go with how much rice. But if you just type in the type of rice that you're going to get, you can go into the recipe for that particular type of rice and it will give you quantities and ratios. And if you go down to the bottom, it will give you different variations and different amounts for different serving sizes. So CookieDooo is very helpful here. Our CookieDooo platform really helps you along the way, which is really handy for those of us who are in a hurry. So back to where I was at. So the other one I want to show you is sous vide mode. So for those who haven't heard of sous vide, this one is where you're cooking proteins, often steak or chicken, salmon, could be eggs, can also be fruits and vegetables or seafood. But you're cooking it very gently in a vacuum sealed bag. So often people need a special machine to be able to do sous vide. It's kind of a thing restaurants use, but the Thermomix does it very well. If you don't have a vacuum sealer, I have a video which I can share showing you how you can just use a normal snap lock bag to vacuum seal your protein. Then you will use either a blade cover or the simmer basket to make sure your bag isn't just sitting on top of the blades, because obviously the plastic bag could get nicked by the blades. And then you just choose your temperature and your time. So for steak, I do about 52 degrees for an hour, and it's the most perfect medium rare steak, like absolutely delicious. So yes, it takes a little bit longer, but you can do it ahead of time and have it in your fridge already sous vide ready to go for dinner. And when it's ready, you just put on a really hot plate for 30 seconds each side, and you've got that caramelized outer. So sous videing is like pretty fancy, but very easily done in the Thermomix. I'm not a fancy cook who would bother on these types of things if it weren't for the Thermomix. It just makes everything so easy. So being able to do fancy things like sous videing in there is pretty impressive. So tomorrow I'm going to send you all out an email which has the recording of tonight's demonstration and some other links. I'll put in the link of the sous vide so that you can see how to sous vide without having to get a vacuum seal bag. That being said, Mix Shop website sells a really good vacuum sealer, which is a handy wand, like super easy. So I'll show you all of that. What else was I going to show you? Slow cooking. So the TM6 model has the ability to go on slow cook mode up to 8 hours. So you choose your time, choose your temperature, and then what's clever about this mode is it will, you can use a blade cover peeler if you want to. That's an optional accessory that you can purchase. It doesn't come with the Thermomix. It's basically not everyone would want it. You don't have to use it though. You can use slow cook mode without it. But yeah, slow cook mode, the blades move every 15 minutes to give it a quick stir, but otherwise they just stay still. So your food is just sitting there slow cooking with a little quick stir every 15 minutes. Again, you can leave the house if you want to. It's all just safely cooking away in your Thermomix. So you can do cheaper cuts of meat or pulled pork or legumes. There's heaps of slow cook recipes in CookieDooo. Or you can just use your own recipes and just set it manually. So fermentation mode is another mode that we have now on the Thermomix that we didn't have before. So this one is really great for yogurt, soft cheeses, or proving dough. You can do different veggies, fermented veggies as well. But basically, I mainly use it for yogurt. I love the ferment mode for yogurt. But it's fun to play around with anyway. The only thing is it does take a while. So I try and set it to do it overnight so that my Thermomix isn't being out of action while I make yogurt, because I do it for 12 hours. So set it at night, and in the morning I've got yogurt ready to go in the fridge. But yeah, you can also ferment dough up in there to make it rise at the perfect temperature. And there's recipes for that as well. So everything, I just feel like all the engineers over there in Germany who have been making this model, and they're still updating it with software updates all the time, they're really clever, and they've really just thought of everything, which makes the Thermomix so amazing to use. Okay, so the other one I wanted to show you is PreClean. Now I know the TM5, oh, it's not there. Let's go with Thicken. I'll come back to PreClean. So Thicken is another really cool one. It's for all your sauces. So hollandaise, béarnaise, custard, bechamel, anything that's sort of like a sauce that needs to thicken, basically. So you just put all the ingredients in, flick it away, and it will detect when the texture is perfect, and it will stop and call you when it's ready. So it's usually about 10 minutes, sort of 8 to 11 minutes, depending on what you're making and how much your quantity is. But yeah, roughly around the 10-minute mark is what you can expect from the Thicken mode. And it just makes the most perfect custard or hollandaise. I love the bechamel sauce. I just add a bit of cheese in with it. It's delicious. So all these modes just make it really easy to use your Thermomix. I wanted to show you PreClean. Okay, it's working now. So what's great about PreClean is that there's different settings depending on what you've been cooking. So you come in, and it's called PreClean, but it's actually after you've been cooking. This is the PreClean before you're going to be cleaning it. And I guess they just want to be really clear that you would still need to rinse it out in the sink. So depending on what you've been cooking, add in some water, a little bit of vinegar or dishwash liquid. Or when I'm in a hurry, I just do water, because then in my sink, I'm going to use my dishwash wand to do an extra little super quick 5-second go around. It does a really good job of cleaning off dough. And then if you've got, like if you've just been making a normal recipe, universal is sort of the main one to use. But if you've been cooking something that might have a lot of fat or caramel or oil, something like mayonnaise, the fat one is the best one to use. And then if you've got caramelization marks down the very bottom of your bowl, which can happen after you've been using high heat mode, that browning one does an amazing job. It just lifts everything off. It does take a little bit longer, but it's so worth it. Then you just tip it out in your sink. And as you can see, it's done a very good job of cleaning it, but just to be hygienic, obviously still just give it a rinse in your sink, and it's ready to be dried and used again. So the self-clean mode is awesome. I do it every night after dinner or in the morning after porridge. Really, really love that self-clean mode. What else did I want to show you? So Warmup. So this is really great, as I know lots of people are trying to get rid of needing to use the microwave, just to be a bit of a healthier way of reheating your food. So you can come here and use the Warmup mode. And there is a guide. If you press the info button, I'll show you that in a second actually, after the video. But yeah, you can use the butterfly whisk if you're doing thicker or larger quantities. Otherwise, you don't need it. And you just choose your temperature and speed, and it will reheat very evenly. So you won't have any cold spots. It's just a good even reheat. You don't set the time. It will call you when it's at the correct temperature that you have chosen. So you can be really food safe here when reheating your dishes. Okay. And then just, I mean, this one's probably not super exciting, but I use it, is our kettle mode. And the reason I use it is because you can choose, like a normal kettle just is either 0 or 100, but this one you can choose to lower it. So when I'm making my herbal tea, I go to 80. And that's why I like this kettle mode. So you can set whatever time you want and then just turn it on and it will call to you when your liquid has reached that temperature. So basically just like a normal kettle. So some people don't use this mode because they've already got a different kettle. Yeah, and that's quite okay. So those who have a, oh, there you can see they're making tea there. Those who have a previous model Thermomix, you will know you will already have turbo mode. I just thought I'd quickly show it just in case some of you don't. But turbo mode is just a really quick pulse that goes at our very fastest speed, which is 10,700 revs per minute. So anything you're wanting to give a really quick burst to is what turbo mode is for. So I use it for pestos, and I also use it for mincing meat. Basically because I don't want my pesto or minced meat to become like a paste. I want it to be rough, and that's why I use turbo mode. But here they're using lemon and water and turboing it so that you can give your Thermomix bowl a really good clean. So sometimes before cooking certain things, you want to give your bowl a super good clean. And this lemon wash is a good one. Or as you can see, you've got, if you add some sugar, you've got lemonade. And so turbo mode's really good for that. And I wanted to show you dough. Again, previous model Thermomixes do already have a dough mode. So those are the two that you've already got, but I still wanted to show you. I love dough mode. We make pizza, bread rolls, naan bread, pretzels. I do focaccia, which is super popular when I'm going to a picnic. All my family always says, Laura, bring the focaccia. But yeah, making bread for my family or scrolls. I make cheese spinach scrolls. So it's just a matter of putting in your ingredients. A basic dough is only 5 ingredients and then turning dough mode on. So then you've got additive free, beautiful homemade bread, which is just really good. And that 2 minutes of kneading, which it just does a good job. It makes a good strong dough. It's about the equivalent of 20 minutes of hand kneading. So definitely a great mode to have. And then you've got your dough ready to sit aside and rise before baking. So do we have any questions yet? We're all good. I wanted to show you, I remember I said I was going to do this. When you're in a mode, all of them have an info button up the very top so that you can come and get some advice on how to use that mode. So it tells you which temperature to use and which speed. So yeah, all the modes have that. The other mode I didn't show you a video of is this chop mode. Oh, it's going to be slow because I'm on Zoom. There we go. Basically, this is for people who aren't sure what speed and what time to chop their ingredients at. So you can come here and choose what you're wanting to do. So let's say I want to mince some beef. So I would choose whether it's 300 grams or 500 grams, set it, and then my time and my time and speed are set. And all I have to do is turn the dial and it's going to be chopping my minced meat. You can just search, you can browse through and see what types of things you can do. But if you aren't sure, you can just type it in. So if you want to grate a carrot to make a carrot cake or whatever, it will show you how to do that. So there are modes, and the other two that I haven't shown you yet are grating and slicing. Now those ones, the reason I haven't quite shown you just yet, maybe I should, is because the attachment called the cutter isn't available at the moment, and it won't be available till early next year. But when it is available, it is, well, it's a great mode. Basically, you can use it with your TM6. You can also use it with a TM5 model as well, but it slices and grates veggies. So yeah, that's that one. And maybe I'll try and find a video to show you. Okay. Just in case you're interested for next year when it comes out. The other way of getting a cutter is to become a consultant. And anyone who becomes a consultant has the opportunity to earn the cutter in their first 2 months of being a consultant for free, because we're always being spoiled with different gifts. So, okay, so there's the cutter attachment. It just goes inside and you choose whether you want it on the grating side or the slicing side. And then it takes seconds. Like, it is so quick to process your veggies or fruit, whatever you're wanting to do. So you would just already have it peeled. You can choose thin or thick. Thin is 1 millimeter and thick is 4 millimeters. Basically, it just does it really fast and it just slices it all. And it does a really good job. It doesn't mush up your tomato or your cucumber or anything like that. It just does a really good job. So that's the cutter. So the other thing I wanted to show you, does anyone have any questions? You're being very quiet and that's totally fine. So the other thing I wanted to show you, which is important because it goes hand in hand with the TM6, especially since it's integrated on the screen, is, so you can see this here, CookieDooo is on my screen. I'm going to show you some other features of CookieDooo because it's just an amazing platform that makes your life so easy. So you can come here and type anything. So you can see the other day I was typing in Halloween, so I could see what treats my kids want to make for Halloween. Or you could just type like something you know you want to cook. Like, I like this Mongolian lamb. Once you find a recipe you're wanting to work with, you press these 3 dots to organize it. So you can bookmark it, put it in your meal planner for today, add it to a collection, and these are the folders that I was showing you earlier. Or you can add to a particular day in your week. So let's say I want that tomorrow. And then you're going to need to add it to your shopping list so you can get the ingredients. If you aren't sure what you want to cook, but you know you've got friends coming over and you need to find fancy or something that's good for entertaining, you can type in the word entertaining, or you could type in dinner party or something like that, whatever. So this looks fancy for my friends. I've actually made this. It is absolutely delicious and very quick. So let's say I'll make that on Saturday for my friends, and we better add it to the shopping list. Yeah. And then let's make buffalo chicken wings for Sunday. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up because I want to show you the example of how this works. Excuse me. So yeah, so you can just type in, or if you aren't sure what you want to make, you can type in an ingredient. Like, say you've bought way too much cauliflower. Why was that what came to my head? So you can come here and type it in and see all the recipes that use cauliflower. And that sounds delicious. So I will make that on Friday and add it to my shopping list. Okay, so once you're organized, you can also type other things like Christmas. You could type healthy. If you're interested in making baby food, you type baby food, like whatever. This CookieDooo search bar will just bring up anything you need. Once you've planned your week, you can come here and find it all, and you've got your shopping list as well. So your shopping list is very handy. It makes life very easy. If you've already got the ingredients at home, just tick it off and say, no, I don't want to buy that. But then I have the app open on my phone as I'm shopping. So as I put the item in my trolley, I tick it off with my finger. And then I know by the end of the shop, I've got everything. But the other thing that's good about this shopping list is it categorizes everything into aisles. So all your meats together, your oils, your spices, your dairy. But if you don't want to be the one doing the shopping, you can press this beautiful button up here. My favorite, takes you straight to Woolies online so that Woolworths can do your shopping for you. And that is not an affiliation. It's just so happens that their website coding works really well with CookieDooo. So that's why Woolworths. If you don't like the brand that they have chosen for you, you can press the swap button and just choose a different brand that suits you for whatever reason. And once you're ready, you add it to your cart and it takes you to your Woolworths online account. So that's CookieDooo in a really quick nutshell. Oh, actually, the other things about it are, here's where you add your own recipes. So this is what I was saying earlier, where you can add your family favorites and you add it in here and it goes on your screen. You can also import from recipecommunity.com.au, which is another great website full of free Thermomix recipes. Yeah, so that's CookieDooo. So when you purchase a TM6, it comes with 6 months free subscription to CookieDooo, and ongoing it is $69 a year. And then once, just to finish off showing you my meal plan, if I come in here to my menu and go to my week, here's all the recipes we just put in there, and they're just instantly there. So no syncing necessary. It all just is done over the cloud. Everything speaks very nicely from your app to your laptop to your machine. If you don't want to be using your laptop or your app, you can just do it straight from your machine as well. So you can come here, type in what you want, and choose what you want to cook. Like if I want to make these mini apple crumbles, I've got those 3 dots here on this screen that I can press and organize. So I can add to cook today, bookmark, or add to my shopping list straight from my Thermomix. So I'll just quickly go over the deals we have at the moment before we finish, and I'll also open it up to see if anyone has any questions about anything. But the Thermomix TM6 model is, the normal cost is $2,579. We have some really great payment options, including what just started yesterday is 36 months interest-free, making it less than $19 a week to have a Thermomix on your bench. And the other promo on which I mentioned earlier is that you can add a $29 bowl set. So super handy to have 2 bowls. This is generally considered our best promotion that we have through the year, and they don't do it very often. So it's a pretty good time. We also have Afterpay. We have Easy 3, where you can split it up over 3 months, or we can pay in one lump sum over PayPal, bank deposit, credit card. Now, the best way, or the most fun way to get a Thermomix on your bench, is to become a consultant and share the Thermo love with your community and your friends and networks and whoever. As they're purchasing Thermomixes, you can earn your own. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to your consultant or to myself. If you don't have a consultant, I will match you up with a good match one. So yes, the other offer we have on at the moment is our trade up, which is mainly the reason for this class tonight, was to show our older model Thermomixes, why you might consider it. Obviously, all Thermomixes are great, and we hope that you do still love your Thermomix, but all these extra features, and the scales in 1 gram and the CookieDooo integration, all these great, and the fact that there's software updates, all these great new features are reasons why you might want to consider upgrading. So you can get $300 off the price, making it $2,279, plus a free bowl set, normally $395. And it doesn't matter what condition your Thermomix is in. Your TM5 could be broken, it could be whatever. They are going to be doing up as many as they can to give to charities. Others will be responsibly recycled. If you have a TM31 model, we can also offer you an upgrade. It's $380 off the price of the Thermomix to trade in your TM31. What else do I need to cover? So the other thing is that we have some really good host rewards. And so for those who want to just have your consultant come into your home and have 2 or 3 friends that you can share the Thermomix with, you can get a host reward. And otherwise, if you don't want to do it in person, you can do it online, like what we're doing right now, which also works as well. A CookieDooo subscription is our promotional host reward. Otherwise, it's our thermo servers, which are beautiful dishes that keep your food hot or cold for a few hours. But yeah, consider that, because it's also a really good way of just being hands-on with the Thermomix and cooking, like eating the food in it. Like tonight's great, but obviously you're just seeing the food through a screen instead of being able to touch and eat it. But however way you want to see the Thermomix works. Okay, we've got a question. The TM5 bowl does not fit in the TM6, so the heating element is inside the bowl itself. And that's why it's not a fit. It does look like it will be a fit because it's the same size, but it won't work. That heating element does not go up to 160 in the TM5, and just the configuration of all the electronics and how it works together, it won't work. So yes, that's not a fit. Does anyone have any other questions? Because we're basically at the end of everything I wanted to show you about the Thermomix and CookieDooo, or the TM6 and CookieDooo. As I said, tomorrow I'll send you out an email with some extra links, things you can consider. But I'm happy just to stay on as people are leaving or whatever. If anyone wants to stay and ask me any other questions or wants me to show you anything else, I'm just here. So yeah. And actually, before you ask questions, maybe I'll end the recording. So